The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube. And on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you can hear the show and see the show in its entirety at any time and comment on my comments. Oh boy, are there comments on my comments about the people attacking Obama and some of the comments that were made in this show yesterday. You don't want to miss an opportunity to add your 2 cents to that. And thanks to our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're distributed coast to coast across the United States of America into 12 million additional households. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. Susan Jacoby, the author of The Age of American Unreason, is our guest today. But Alan, what do you make of this breaking news that President Bush's father, the first George Bush president, endorsed Hillary Clinton? What's that all about?
I know, what an amazing development that is, Gary. Can you believe it? I mean, not only crossing party lines, but sabotaging the Bush legacy. I'm stupefied. Well, who knows? Maybe Michael Reagan will come after Obama.
His comments that the past 8 years of the White House has been a failure and that the Bush legacy should be his and not his son's just absolutely blew me away.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, but, you know, sometimes blood isn't thicker than water.
Yes, and a statement like that could only be made on April the 1st, April Fool's
Day.
Anyways, hey everybody, how you guys doing? Welcome to the show. Seriously now, we're very lucky to have Susan Jacoby, whose national bestseller, The Age of American Unreason, paints a disturbing portrait of public ignorance, anti-rationalism, and anti-intellectualism. She argues that this mindset in the United States has developed over the past 4 decades and actually threatens the future of American democracy. Combining historical analysis with contemporary observation, Jacoby dissects a culture at odds with America's heritage of Enlightenment reason and with modern knowledge and science. Sparing neither the right nor the left, she asserts that Americans today have embraced a universe of junk thought. Probably we're going to get accused of contributing to that. That makes almost no effort to separate fact from fiction. Well, we sure fought that out yesterday, didn't we? Fact from fiction. Instead of singling out one villain, The Age of American Unreason focuses on what Jacoby calls the toxic interaction of all forces of ignorance, from the loss of a middle-brow print culture that once served as a bridge between mass and high culture to abdication of their role as public educators by so many intellectuals on the left and right. And I bet you there are a lot of people who agree with that because of the political correctness theory that seems to abound in our institutions of higher learning. Susan Jacoby, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and it's a measure of how almost anything unreasonable can seem credible that for a moment I actually didn't realize your item about George H.W. Bush endorsing Hillary Clinton was an April Fool joke.
Yeah, well, you know, we have to have a little fun on April 1st. Just a little fun. So what's happened here in the country? Have we all become mindless, NASCAR watching, Budweiser drinking idiots who reject?
Well, I want to say first of all that I don't consider Budweiser a major cause of anti-rationalism or anti-intellectualism in this country. I think what's happened, and I actually want to pick up a lot on your opening introduction because I don't agree with all of it. It's not.
Okay.
When you said that I said that both the right and the left have to take a lot of responsibility, I meant exactly that. You went on to talk about political correctness in our college institutions. This is certain kinds of political correctness are very anti-rational, but the right wing, with its disdain for evidence, the kind of even though we have evidence that the war in Iraq isn't working, they won't admit they made a mistake. There's plenty of blame to go around. But let's get away from politics for a minute. I think that what's happened in the last 30 years or so, 35 years, that's made this different from earlier periods of anti-intellectualism or anti-rationalism is, first of all, the meeting of anti-intellectualism with anti-rationalism. They're not the same thing. Anti-intellectualism is sort of the traditional, too much learning is a dangerous thing. We want to be able to read, but not to read too much. It's sort of a disdain for PhDs and all that sort of thing. Anti-rationalism is something else. Anti-rationalism is a positive disdain for evidence, so that it's saying, I know what I know, and I'm not going to be disturbed by any facts. And something else, too, coupled with ignorance, it's also involved with you might as well have ignorant and proud of it stamped on your forehead. For example, one of the polls I quoted in my book is a National Geographic Roper poll of Americans 18 to 25, a lot of them with some college education or college graduates. Only half of them could find Iraq on a map, and only about 1 in 5 could find Iraq, Israel, and Saudi Arabia on a map. Countries of great importance to American foreign policy. The majority of adult Americans can't name more than one First Amendment right. A lot of them can't name any. 2/3 of Americans don't know what DNA is, the genetic code, which is the key to our heredity. These are all things that are just basic things that are important to know, and that you shouldn't have to be an intellectual or a college graduate to know either. These are basic things for a democracy that everybody who graduates from high school needs to know, and a huge proportion of our population doesn't know these things.
Well, wait a minute. I thought everybody watched CSI and knew all about DNA, but maybe a few people missed the show. I don't want to put Boaz on the spot, and if you can't do this, Boaz, I understand. But Susan was talking about the inability of people to the kids, the graduates from high school, to find basic geographic locations. Do you happen to have that spot that we play sometimes during the spot break?